Uh, Welcome. This is the Superconscious Mastermind on September 19th. Excuse me. So, how are you, Stas?
Oh, living. I uh just going through all the motions of trying to find work, and it's
What's happening with that?
to tell you the truth, not much as far as that goes. There's not much. I mean, there's work out there, but there's way too many applicants. And it just takes them forever to sift through the applications, and then and there's also more sometimes there's more qualified people for the job, and so they're just gonna go with that. But that's not really kind of fully discouraging. Um, I I'm trying to work with a recruitment firm to see if they can help me find a job, basically.
You want to know something? Why the hell hadn't we thought of that? That's
Well,
a
the
great
thing is it's
idea.
expensive. They're like they want like this specific one because it's for tech stuff. They want like 12 to 14% of my paycheck for 36 months.
Wow.
So it's not cheap. And
Does
so
it, but don't a lot of the companies pick that up?
no, not really, because it's not they're not going through an agency kind of. This is just these people that are helping me find a job basically through
Mhm.
various it's like a combination of mentorship, um, within the field, along with like resume redo or whatever, recruitment help, blah blah. It's just the whole thing. But and I might not go with them. I have like a 2 week trial to see if they're effective. But in the meantime, I'm just learning as much as I can. Next week, I'm meeting with a few people, with a recruiter and a mentor, to see what's if this is even worthwhile. But I'm just absorbing information right now. I'm not really committing.
That's fantastic. When you do something like this, and I love where your energy's at because you're not detached, but I would call you
Hmm.
uh, more focused on the examination process. But
Yeah.
your energy, even about there isn't much going on, there's this, it's just so neutral and beautiful. If
I
this is
mean,
what this is what allows the opportunities to show up when you
well,
stay
that's
in
the
that
thing. I'm
space.
trying to get that to be in that kind of feel. Sometimes it goes kind of in waves. I'm like, you know what, this is a bit concerning, and there's all these other things, but then I kind of calm down a bit and try to figure out what the next step is. And like there's only so much you can do. I went and I applied to unemployment, and there was like a whole pain in the butt around that. Applied for all these various other systems just so I can make sure that I last long enough, because the window for getting a job this year is very small before the holidays hit, and that's when they stop hiring really, but not entirely. So you never
Mhm.
know. I might have to live with this until maybe January, February, but I really would rather not. So, you know,
Mhm.
um,
Well, keep keep investigating, and I love that you're doing that
mhm,
because in those avenues of investigation, you're going to open up, just be open-minded to new
mhm,
things, you know, uh, because when looking at something like this, the thing that's always astounding to me is as I move along over typically a short period of time,
mhm,
I will find myself, because I'm concerned, something will come up that's a possibility, and I will
mhm,
immediately judge it and tear it down, right?
mhm,
Instead of, it's just part of human nature. And I'll give you an example of that. I'm going to sell my RV, and one of the campgrounds that I stay at, they have an annual pass. So they told me how much it was. It's like 7 grand, and you can only be there 9 months, I think. But anyway, I was like, wow, that's really expensive. Anyways, I go down, can't sell my RV. And then I'm looking at other options and I'm thinking, oh, 70 grand. Geez, if I rent a space from them for a year, I've got plenty of time then to sell the RV. I've got to live somewhere. My rent's all paid, So here I was just a little while ago, kind of ripping it. And now it appears to be my the best solution I have. And it's a good one, right? So be aware of that because it just everything changes as you gather
Yeah,
more
I'm
information.
trying to open up things, like to look at possibility of it all, because it's, again, I'm I'm really literally doing everything I can to
Mhm.
get something, and I'm adjusting my resume, I'm adjusting my cover letters, I'm looking into different positions, different, even somewhat different, I mean, still technology based, but still a little bit different industries, etc. And so yeah, you got to do what you got to do. I'm gonna have to put in the work. So I don't feel bad about it later. Like, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. I wouldn't want to question myself. So it's just kind of staying true to what I feel is right. Yeah.
Mhm. Well, you never know, you know, when it's going to pop up.
Right.
And it's just a matter of speaking to people. In fact, hey Ronnie, how you doing, bud?
Hey, Ronnie.
Uh, how are you, Ronnie?
I'm doing good. Just got off work.
So, so we're just talking about something that you're an expert on,
Interesting. What is
and
that?
you can give Stas some advice. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. It's exploring possibilities with an open mind.
Sorry, what's the first part with an open mind?
Exploring, getting
Mm.
clarity, looking like when you were looking for work.
Mm-hmm. 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 Um, great topic. I was just thinking today how I don't know. I feel like just as I was about to sign off today, I was thinking to myself how great my manager is. And then I was gonna catch myself saying like every job I've had, I'm always like, man, this is the best manager I've ever had. And I don't know. I just felt very grateful like 5 minutes ago as I was signing off work that I have such a wonderful manager. But to answer Bill's question, as far as being open minded, is that you never know where your blessing is gonna come from. That's a bit spiritual, but like when you're open
It's
minded
true.
and you're open to new things, like there's always a like even if like I don't want to say God forbid, but let's say tomorrow I got let go and I got a job at a restaurant or whatever the case may be. Like in every single area, I always look at it like wherever God puts you, it's an opportunity to grow. And there's always lessons you can learn from even things that you feel is absolutely not relatable to you. And I've seen that firsthand, like things that I thought in almost every area of my life that I thought was irrelevant to me. I've learned a great deal of things just by keeping that open minded because there's lessons that you can take from everything, like um, everything about life. I feel like is an opportunity to learn. We never know enough. Um, so it's just like either you're a banker or you're in the restaurant industry or you're in sports or you're in entrepreneurship. There's always a lesson you can learn from anywhere you are. So that's kind of how I try to approach things. Um, and when you have that open mindedness, like great things come out of it because then you don't even know what you were missing until you experience it. And then once you experience it, you can go on and teach it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
I like that. I never know where your blessings are going to come from.
That's correct. That is correct.
And
Oh, there's Jamie.
thanks, Ronnie. Hi, Jamie.
Hey,
How are you?
good. Busy.
What's new?
Oh, I'm just running around a bit today down
Mhm.
south with the kids. Yeah. So, yeah.
What, there's Teresa. What, topic? What do you want to talk about, Ronnie? What's going on with anybody?
I kind of snapped at my grandma 2 days ago.
Oh, at your grandmother.
Yeah.
What a dickhead.
So I
Hi,
guess
Teresa.
mixed emotions.
Hi.
Did you hear that? He yelled at his grandmother.
Oh, he did. How'd she respond?
Like she mostly does all the time. She went and told my dad and then came back home. My dad kind of was spazzing. He's just like, I had enough. And I was like, well, I've had enough too, you know? And then I just tried to tell him, like, he took a moment to calm down, and I tried to explain to him that, like, not to speak bad about my grandma, but like my grandma has stirred a lot of shit, you know, like almost everywhere she goes. Like my cousins in Germany, they don't talk to my grandma because my grandma put their mom through a lot after my uncle passed. Everybody in like my family knows that my grandma had put my mom through a lot. So she doesn't have the greatest reputation. She's a great lady, you know, but she's too involved in like her son's lives and like
What a
go on, Bill,
no.
sorry.
Go ahead, Ronnie. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say that pretty much my dad's fiance and her daughters that lived here, a reason as to why they left. They said because, like I mentioned, they don't live here anymore. But a big reason why their mom said was that my grandma made her kids feel extremely uncomfortable. Because you know she was always making comments that women should wake up and clean and cook this way and do this way, and criticize them, and they had enough. And their mom's like, I don't want to snap at this woman, so I'd rather just leave. And then yeah, so she was attacking me, saying like, why did you run off your dad's fiance? And I was just like, actually, you're the one who ran them off, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And then we're just going back and forth. And then I asked her a simple question. I was just like, I feel like you guys could have a little bit more emotional intelligence. I told her, since my mom passed away 2 years ago, have you ever asked me or my brothers, how are we doing? Like, and she got offended, and she's like, oh, well, since my uncle passed her oldest son, she's like, have you ever asked me how I'm doing? And I'm like, well, I'm your grandson, like you would think, like don't, because every time I feel like I try to approach my grandma or my dad with uh, a pointer or a remark, they get defensive. So she started getting defensive when I asked her, like, have you ever just took the time to ask me or my brothers, like, how are we doing? It was just like, you got to understand that this transition has not been easy for us. Like, growing up with our mom, seeing my dad in love, like, there's a lot of things where it would be good to just get emotional support. And she just got really offended, and we were kind of going back and forth, and I didn't like her response. So I was getting heated as well. And yeah, we had a meeting afterwards, kind of like giving her remarks as to how everyone could get better. And again, she was very defensive. She's like, oh, well, if that's how you guys feel, then I'm never going to do anything in this house again. I'm not going to clean again. I'm not going to touch nothing again. And we're like, we're simply giving you constructive criticism because, living in a house with a lot of people is an adjustment for everybody. And yeah, she just really wasn't hearing it. She was just getting offended by every remark we made, and that was that.
Anybody else know people like that? There's a lot of them around.
Too many.
There's a lot. Anybody have comments? You have comments, Teresa?
No, it just sounds like, I mean, she doesn't have the capacity to be
Right.
there to support other people.
Really,
Yeah.
Ronnie, you know, it's okay to speak your piece
Hmm.
as long as you do it from a place of love.
I see what you mean.
And the most important part of speaking your piece is you're not looking for agreement.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Total sense.
But speaking up for yourself is critical. And then you just step away from it.
Mm.
You know, Teresa, this is very similar to what you went through when you started your business and you're busier and you're going with people and you're like, oh man, I don't have time to drive. I don't know what I'm going to do. And you've backed away further and taking more control of your own time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you understand what the analogy there?
The backing
You used to
away.
put- Well, you used to play games with clients just because you wanted to make sure you had them and you had the income. I mean, that's how you started your business, right? Taking care of people. When you started your business, when you started your accounting business.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like I'm attacking you?
No, I don't feel attacked.
This is it's a great analogy. I want you to see it energetically.
Okay, so the
Do you
taking care
do you see the
people.
analogy with it, Scott?
Kind of, yeah. But I wanna hear more
Same
about it.
thing with you with work with the people that bothered you.
Yeah.
You when you started your business, Teresa, your focus was just on getting clients, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got clients and started working for them and right? Got it going and you're like, oh, this is great. You know, but you got busier, right? And then you found out you're giving too much time to clients.
Oh, yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And what Ronnie's doing is giving too much time to a situation that it'll never be changed. The
Yeah.
best, you know, Ronnie, I mean, really, the best your grandmother may ever do is piss you off. And that's about it.
Yeah, I see
You
what
know,
you mean.
and she's not a bad person, but if you go back and look at her life and the way she was raised and all the things, you know, you'll understand why she's that way, and she just doesn't see life any differently.
Mhm.
So Teresa, if we spoke from a negative, if we were negative about your relationships with your clients, there was a reason you changed and you're doing what you're doing now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what is that reason?
Well, it was like too emotionally draining, and I didn't have as much control over my like personal time.
Almost like the clients were running your business.
Yeah.
Similar to Ronnie's grandmother running the house, right, Ronnie?
Exactly.
See?
Yeah, for her to say that she's not going to clean anymore, not do anything around the
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
Yeah, that's like pretty
So,
manipulative.
so you took steps to get control of your business back because when you're not in control of it, your clients are running it. Some of the
Mhm.
frustration you've had in the past, Stoss, does this sound familiar?
Yeah, there's been frustrations like that before, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So you spoke up and changed the relationship,
Mhm.
right? What are some things that you've done, Stoss?
Um, I've well, there were some times when I fired my clients before, just because I just couldn't deal with them anymore. They were too much of a disruption in my life, and for a very
Mhm.
little return. And they understood, strangely enough. They knew what they were asking me. And with others, I was very much more clearer around what I am capable of doing and what I'm willing to do.
Mhm.
And outlined like various boundaries, because that was the consistent issue with me and my
Mhm.
clients, was that they had no
Mhm.
boundaries because I didn't give them any. And so
Right.
and they just
Yeah.
abused and abused and abused, and I
Yeah.
became worried about it,
Yeah.
and then I was like, nope, sorry, at some point you gotta not do that. And and then
Mhm.
they respected. And the weirdest thing is the same thing with like pricing. Um, I was charging lower pricing because of one thing or another, but then I'm like, wait a minute, that makes no sense. I do double the work. And so I raised my prices, and they really didn't complain whatsoever because they still got what they got, but they even respected me more, which is really annoying. You would think if you're trying to save people money, they would they would really respect you for that. But nope, they like it when you charge them. So yeah.
Sound familiar, Teresa?
Yeah, definitely. Especially the increasing your prices.
And what changing your boundaries?
Yeah, changing your boundaries.
See, energetically, everything Stoss said applies to Ronnie and his grandmother. And it also applies to what you've done and you're probably still doing in your accounting business.
Mhm.
This is what I want you to see there is I want you to see the energetic side of it, how similar it is. Are you getting that?
Yeah. And
What do you see
energy.
now? Yeah. What do you see now?
Oh, just thinking about how it feels when somebody in your life is like making you feel uncomfortable or um just upset or uptight or worried. Yeah, just affecting, like when somebody affects my energy, somebody outside of me that I let affect my energy. And then I feel like I'm like a victim, because it's like, oh, it's my client wants this and this and this, or I'm blaming something outside of myself for how I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I found that to
It
be a
gets
very,
confusing.
very regular thing happening. Like, like people outside will always do that to some degree. I think, in my opinion and experience, it's the how fast you recover or how from that, or for how fast you recognize that behavior of theirs and yours, and like the more you kind of snap out of it basically, and like, oh wait, no, this I have more control than I think, and I shouldn't do this or this. And it's much better. It gets way better.
When it's out of control, when it's before you made the changes, what are some of the feelings that you had? What's the energy like that caused you to make the change?
You asking me?
Anybody?
Oh,
Sure.
oh,
All
okay.
of you.
Mostly it was frustration and a
Hmm.
lot of resentment for being used, so to speak.
Hmm.
But it wasn't, in the end being used. I was just allowing it.
No, well, we know that. Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
no, but go with the feeling because this
Yeah.
this is your radar if it ever starts happening again.
Or like there's
And
tightness in my
it
chest
doesn't
or the
lie.
core, like that
Uh-huh.
usually when I think of that person or that company or whatever, it's like, oof, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, there's something there. So I must unfold
Right.
or find out what is it. So yeah.
Uh-huh. What are some that you identify with, Teresa?
Yeah, I was thinking resentment.
Mm.
And overwhelm too. I kind of get like overwhelmed when people are asking me to do things.
It would almost, you would almost be creating an avalanche.
That's how it feels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's exactly how it feels.
How did it feel for you, Ronnie? What are some of the feelings?
Yeah, I agree. I've been feeling a bit of resentment and just overwhelming because like I tell my grandma like I was over at my uncle's and aunt's house last week and they're like, "What does your grandma do all day?" And I was like, "Well, honestly speaking, 95% of the time is complain. And when I work from home, it gets very annoying. It's almost like I have to put a mental mute button because she'll be like, oh well, this isn't done right, or why is there dishes, or this
So
table's
Ronnie,
dirty, or
right. So
yeah,
that's what's happening. How does it feel?
annoying, um, frustrating. I feel the little bit of resentment and just overwhelming as a whole.
Disrespectful?
Yeah.
Angry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's important. So important. I really wanted you to see that all three of these are the same because of the energy they generate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does everybody see the similarities? It's about gaining more awareness and claiming more of you. And understanding no one can hurt you. No one's going to take anything from you. You get to be you. In fact, in these situations, when you go into them, the more you take charge and move energetically, the happier the people you're dealing with will be. Because you have the power to do that and transcend the relationship energetically, but not with anger, Ronnie. You do it with love. And where it's a problem with her complaining all day, say something very politely and just say, I really, wish you wouldn't disturb me when I'm working or whatever. You're walking around complaining. It makes it difficult for me to focus. And just leave it at that. Don't expect anything to happen. Just the question, and we talked about this before, is what's a person's capacity for change? What do you think your grandmother's capacity for change is?
Very low.
Yeah. So these situations are there to help us grow. Does that make sense, Teresa?
Yeah.
Have you seen that? Where have you seen that in your business where you've gone in and just taking control and then the people just step in behind you where you weren't before? What's an example of that?
Well, when I'm like when I go see my clients face to face, they're usually, they're happy I'm there and they have all this stuff on their mind and all this stuff they want to get done. So I'll start working and then they'll be like, oh, and we need to do this. And you need to do this and you need to do this, and I start to get like, they're like piling on everything I have to do. So I'm just like, okay, well, look, right now you asked me to pay your credit card. So that's what I'm doing right now. And then next I can handle that, but I can only do one thing at a time. So I just kind of take back. I just say, this is what I'm doing. And this is how I'm going to have to move forward. And then they're like, oh, okay. And they stop.
Comments, Stas?
Yeah, that's what typically people do. And it's their prerogative to push, basically. It's almost like pets. They have the same thing. They push you and push, especially cats. Like they push and push and push, and then like you have to push back. Same thing with people. It's like they will want more from you, and it has to be instant. You got to tell them it's just unreasonable, as you're doing already. So I think you're doing
They're
it correctly.
they're looking for your leadership.
Mhm.
They want that direction. They want to be told what to do. And the thing that makes it work, the magic, is just the energy. And I'm sure you've noticed that, Teresa, because before, when you first had clients, you were doing things to take care of them, and now you're running your business. So there's a total difference in your energy when you speak to somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody calls you that wants to hear about your services.
Yeah, yeah. I used to just give so much time and energy, and now I just charge $175 if they even want to talk to me.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And how often do people say no?
Oh no, they don't. They're like more than willing to pay, and yeah, or
Because
occasionally, someone will be like, "Oh wow, that's uh, or that they're not, they'll say my rate's too high or something," and then I say, "Oh, okay, well, in the future, let me know if you need help."
Mhm.
you like that stuff.
I mean, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. That funnels all the people towards you that can actually afford you and can bring you money, and the others would kind of keep out. Just how you
Well,
do it.
the bottom line, ultimate truth of the matter is your time is of no value to them. Let me repeat that. Your time is of no value to them. They will take as much of your time as they can get, as much as when they want it. Does that make sense? Everybody's just staring at me.
Yeah, but no,
You
it totally
guys,
makes sense.
Yeah.
huh? So you're just saying, great, I'd be happy to help you, but if I'm going to be giving accounting advice, here's what the initial consultation is, and you let them go. Yeah. Um, yeah. Call it your assessment and clarity session, Teresa. Okay.
Okay.
That's a nice name. Yeah, no, I do an assessment and clarity session with you. That's $175. Then we go from there. Questions? Questions, Ronnie?
Not pretty clear. Very convo.
What do you like about that?
The clarity and just being true to yourself in a sense without
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
coming out in with anger, and always try to do things with love, whether you're understood or not. At least if you're true to yourself and you come from a place of love, then you come out of that situation regardless in a better way than you came in.
And understand, like with your grandmother, she's just going to be defensive and she's going to complain when you say something. Just expect that. But she can't block your energy.
That's
So if
true.
you're coming from a place of love, it'll make all the difference in the world.
Okay. Definitely will keep that in
All
mind.
the difference in the world. Stas, how's your new relationship going?
Doing well. We're continuing on this kind of interesting path of acceleration of just everything. I kind of feel we've been together for a long time now, but it's only been 2.5 months. So it's kind of crazy.
Well, that's intimacy,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
And
Where you're
so,
really,
yeah, it's really good. I mean, we're just discussing things that are important at the moment, basically, and without any like angst or hostility of any kind or whatnot. And we just keep on going. And I just reinforce that, and we're good. We're good.
doesn't it feel good
Hmm.
to have that clarity and not abandon any part of yourself?
Yeah, and also not to
To
play the
really be
games, like not
Mhm.
playing games with other people and or myself even, or like deluding myself and things. It's just really important. I haven't done that in a long time, but it's just like every single time you get into a relationship, it's nice to continue that. So, yeah, it's pretty good.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, that's cool. It just shows you that anything's possible, stuff.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I mean, it's like, gosh, even no matter what it is, just allow the possibility instead of anything negative about yourself or some other people or some other event or some other thing and just generating negative energy. Where do you still do that, Teresa?
Where do I still generate negative energy?
Yeah, like
I'm
I'm
just making
really
some.
judgmental. It's funny because I observe. I'm just such an observer of life around me, but I kind of find myself judging too. It's kind of interesting as I'm doing it. And so I'm more trying to focus just on other people's energy and just where they're at, right? But some people are a bit odd. How about you, Teresa? Where do you see that?
Um, where am I generating negative energy? Um, Probably, I mean, the times I feel most like, or probably like in my
Overwhelmed.
relationship. Yeah, no, like when I like get feedback from my boyfriend that he calls constructive criticism,
Mhm.
I get really defensive.
What's an example?
Um, that I'm not like strict enough with my daughter. Or that I like do too much for her and not let her do it herself. Things like that.
Mhm. So where do you go when he says that?
I just don't agree with him. So
And what do you not agree with?
I think she's a good kid and she doesn't need like discipline. I mean, not that she
So
doesn't need discipline. I mean, well, she's 18 years old for one. So
yeah, well, discipline's over, right?
yeah, but yeah, but he just
So
thinks I'm.
this is a perfect example of what we've been talking about, right? And this having in fact, we started there at the beginning about being open-minded, talking to Stas as he's looking for work and he's looking into different things. One of them is talking to some recruiters. I'm like, damn, why didn't we think of that? That's really, there's just be open-minded. There's new ideas, there's new things to come, but you can't be there when you're pissed off. So
Yeah,
what do? You shut down then with it?
yeah. I just shut down and try to not get the conversation more heated.
And why you're feeling judged?
Yeah, I feel judged and I feel like lectured and
Yeah.
like,
Why do you say that? Do you say that?
oh yeah.
And what does he say?
That it's my own issue that I need to deal with. You know, that it's not him, but I feel like it's in his delivery. So
Yeah,
so
it's
we
his
go back
energy.
and forth between, we're both like, yeah, see, you know, he's blaming me, I'm blaming him, pretty much.
Yeah, next time when he says that, just say, "Oh, that's interesting. Tell me more." And just let him talk. Like he's just giving you his perception based upon his life. You may learn
Yeah.
something. You don't need to change anything. But it's
Well,
like both of you
that's what we
both of
keep
you just
fighting
want to
about.
be you
So,
want to be heard,
yeah.
right, Stas? What do you say? Because you're
I mean, yeah, that would be something, is to let him talk about it. And if and you know, when somebody calls something constructive criticism, it really needs to be actual, like, examples and, you know, possible maybe ideas about like what to do with that, etc. And in the end, the other individual still needs to understand, like, it's your kid. Like, you get to do what you need to do, you know, and it's her life and everything, and you're the mother. You frankly know better than anybody else, but it doesn't really cancel out the fact that maybe, yeah, maybe he has some good points, and but it has nothing also to do with how you, it's not has anything to do with you per se. It seems like you're doing things right. It's just you're taking it a bit more personal than maybe what he wants to convey. I'm not sure exactly. I don't know you guys.
there's some point he wants to get across. Just hear it, you know, um, and say,
And he wants to
you
see my
know,
actions differently. Like he wants to see me do what he's saying or
well,
change.
no, say I want to hear what you have to say. This doesn't mean I'm going to change, but I really want to hear what you have to say. Okay,
Mhm.
and I want to hear why you think it's negative, why you think it doesn't work. Okay. It doesn't mean I'm going to change that. In fact, now I can't. You know, Melo's 18. This game is
Mhm.
over, right? And the truth of the matter is, you've got to look. The best you can do as a parent is look at your kids and see what they're doing and say, you and Jamie both have phenomenal kids. Your children are amazing. You know, just think of where they could be.
Yeah.
They could be in a teenage gang. They could be doing drugs. They could be, you know, I mean, there's just all sorts of things. It really is. So, but let him have that opinion. It's okay, you know, and then he'll learn eventually, you know. It's like we're different. Love me for my difference.
Mhm.
But
I had
don't,
something with my mom. She would give me advice on things unsolicited entirely, like for out of nowhere, which is, I love her for it, but I also can't stand it at the same time. But she'll say something and I'll be like, uh-huh, okay, all right, thank you for that. She's like, you're never gonna do anything that I'm telling you. I'm like, I am not promising that. I'm saying that I will listen. I will try to understand what you're saying, and then I will do what I need to do if I think is right. And like I think I did it maybe 6 times now, and she kind of realized that she's still going to tell me what she needs to tell me, but she just no longer complains about it. And she's happy when I enact something, and then she's not happy when I don't enact something. But I'm like, I'm sorry, it's my life. I get to do what I need to do. So yeah,
and you might even try something just to see
exactly.
what
Yeah,
the
yeah,
experience of it
yeah,
is.
exactly.
But it's you have to look, the problem with that is it's created negative energy in every area of your life. This is where when that's happening, you're behaving like Ronnie's grandmother, energetically. Do you see that? Say
Yeah,
no if you don't. Huh?
I see it.
So just be aware of it and know there's some reason he's saying that. And I bet if you heard him out and asked him some questions about whatever he was saying and really understood it, you might never hear anything about it again. People just want to be heard. And what you're doing is immediately becoming defensive, putting your protection up. What? Oh yeah, well, how about this? Boom. And I lived that way so long. Oh my God. You relating to this, Jamie?
Yeah. Yeah. Like from my point of view, when I'm in something like that, it's just about, I don't know. It's like you just, if someone hears you and they just say, I understand, like it just, it's everything's fine. Then it just puts the fire out. And maybe if I'm speaking like from like male's point of view, maybe like if I'm coming, I get fired up when, like, for instance, with Stevie, if I'm like, if she's just like reacting to the, like, if I say something, even if I'm wrong and I'm like completely like out of line even or whatever, it's just the fact that like there's no understanding and there's no like listening. Like you just want to be, you just want like, you just want to be understood or heard. And then you realize too, you know, like, oh yeah, that was silly. I was just angry, or that was, I was, I don't know what I was thinking when I said that, and I was out of line. I shouldn't say that, but yeah, there's something just about like just nod, you know, just like let me know that you just at least hear what I'm saying, and then and when there's none of that, it's just like, I don't know, you just can't, you just get more and more angry and upset, like, you know, when I'm in it, when I'm angry is what I'm talking about, you know. So but if she's like, yeah, okay, I understand, and then says her stuff, then I'm just like, I'm like, yeah, I was wrong, and I moved on now too, you know.
There's, I live so much of my life that way. Going the defensiveness, the feeling attacked, or the need to fix. Were you that way before, Stas? The need to fix?
Oh, I'm a fixer. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm a
Are you
professional
still?
fixer. I'm a professional fixer in life. I fix everything. So yeah.
Well, you've been suckered into that though.
Oh, duh. They
No,
promised
but
me
you've been
full
suckered.
pay and benefits, but no.
No, you've been suckered into it because of your gifts. You
Mhm.
see, um, your connection with people is just easy for you to end up there,
Mhm.
and especially being so energetically sensitive.
Mhm.
Yeah, when you let people speak and know, even if you're quiet and they're like telling you what they want you to do, Teresa, they're going to sit there and realize that they're having a conversation with themselves.
Yeah. Then he'll get angry that I'm not saying anything.
I want to hear what you have to say. Just explain it to me. I'm listening. I'm here.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
so then
I
you can,
understand.
if he gets angry, you say, then what is it you're looking for? I don't understand what you're looking for. I'm sitting here listening to you. I really want to hear your point. I don't know that I'm going to change, but I'm
If
going
you
to
say
hear what
I
you
have,
have to say.
it will, like, the thing is you can be understanding of somebody even if they're like crazy, you know, and you don't
Mhm.
want to hear what they're saying, or they're being really mean to you, or they're being whatever. You can always tell somebody you understand, even if they're calling you every name in the world. You can just be like, yeah, I understand. I understand where you're coming from. It's from a really bad place or whatever, you know. But if you just if you, I've noticed if I just use that word, it's like there's no defensive mechanism on the other end at all. And it dilutes anger and frustration, and
Yeah.
it instantly shifts everything. And if you don't say anything, I understand that he's getting even more upset. And he's like, why aren't you listening? Why aren't you responding? Because that can be worse, I feel, from his point of view. You know, if you're angry and somebody's just looking at you and not saying anything, it's like the worst thing ever for me, you know, because you just want to be heard, and that's not being heard. That's
Yeah.
just being like, he might think you're thinking about something else and you just don't care, you know? Yeah. But if you say, I
You can even
understand,
say,
it's something, he'll just stop because there's nowhere to go from there for him.
right.
He's got his point. Like he's understood, and now he's like feels better. And then he'll come back to you and say, gosh, I can't believe I said all those things. I was just so angry because this happened in my life earlier or something. Who knows, you know?
They're
And
just
I'm
in
talking
reaction.
from my perspective. I get there. I get angry occasionally, and like it's like I get a little out of control, and then that would be the best thing I could hear from somebody, you know?
Yeah, you can even say, I understand. Let me make sure I got what you said. What I heard you say was this. Is that correct? You haven't taken a position.
Yeah.
Do you see where I am with that?
Yeah.
So what you said was, I should be doing this with Mello and it should be happening that way. Is that right? But without, see, you can't, is that right? You son of a bitch, right? You don't want to be there. You just,
not agreeing either. You're just saying you understand.
you're not agreeing. You're just getting clarity. Then you might say, okay, so but what's the benefit of doing that? Why are you suggesting this? Why are you saying that? I get what you're saying, but I don't understand why. So you're asking for more information. You want more clarity.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Those are really good tools to use.
Well, you just want
And
clarity.
you're in a position there too. Like you retain all your power. You're not just there like taking it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really like the best, like it's a great like
You might even make a change. You know, you might
Shit.
even hear something, yeah, I'll try that. Let
Hmm.
me see. Right? But it's to be understood. It's to be understood. You know, today I applied for a loan for something. So anyway, when I applied online, in fact, it's kind of funny. My credit score right now is 840. It's like I have, it's never, but I hate credit scores because it's such a judgment factor, right? They put, it's just they're too heavily weighted too many different ways. But anyways, what was I going to say? Oh, I filled this application out. They said everything was fine. Gave me the amount. Came back, said, yeah, you're approved. We're just going to set it in to get the paperwork ready. They asked for information, had me set up an account, blah, 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 blah. I do all that. 2 hours later, I get an email from them with a letter and they turn me down. And I'm like, what? What the hell is going on here? So I called and got a hold of some woman that works there. She was younger. Of course, everybody's younger than me these days. But anyways, she just gave me some BS answer about, yeah, I can't go into the details on it, blah, 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 but here's what happened. And that's why it was turned down. And this case is closed. Like it's like she said, this is over, right? I said, okay, well, get me a supervisor or a manager, please. I was nice to her. Said, okay. So this guy, I had to wait a while and whatever. He comes on the line and I just hit him with energy. Hi, Greg, how are you? Like I care about him. We had a nice conversation. It was just nice energy. It wasn't like, how could you guys do that? I have like I just try. I'm baffled by this. I hope you can help me out. Oh yeah, let me look at it. Oh, I really appreciate it. Just nice energy I gave him, right? Boom, boom. He looks at it, boom, boom, boom. Oh, I just called upstairs. I just sent a message upstairs to my manager, got it reopened and approved. Because the issue, it was a crazy little issue. It had to do with my IP address being in Vermont and my home address being Oregon. So they were thinking somebody was scamming them. As it ends up. Are we frozen?
Nope,
We
all
are
good.
now.
Oh,
Oh, Ronnie can hear me. Everybody hear me okay? Are we not frozen anymore?
Yep.
We're
We're
good.
just really into the story.
So where did it cut out? Did you hear the whole story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who has comments?
I do. I just think that works like I think that's just really really important to always remember that it works with everything in life. Just to like be able to switch that because I would be like
It's such
I get triggered so hard on those talking to customer support. It's just and I've noticed that that's the one thing I worked on because it triggers me so hard. That's the one thing that I don't know what it is. Something about customer support. You get me on the phone with customer support and I just lose it. I don't know why. But I've learned to like so I've been working on that and just like doing the trying to do the opposite and it's crazy how much better it makes me feel. It's like therapy talking to like these automated people in a good energy.
why
Like I would like ruin my day over this stuff, my afternoon over like customer support at times,
why do you think that trips him up? What's happening that trips Jamie up when he talks to customer service people? Anybody want to take a guess?
Kind of powerlessness because you have no control over what the other person's going to do or how they're going to perceive you, etc. Possibly.
And maybe you're already feeling like they're not going to help you, because customer service just has a history of, not always being there to really solve your problems, but to just say no.
Yeah, customer service has a history. So take it to a personal level because the person at customer service, their job is to do what?
Make you happy is what they're
Can
supposed to
anybody
be.
hear me? Yeah,
Yeah, we
this
can hear you.
connection's sketchy.
No, you're just freeze a lot, but your
No,
voice
it
is
isn't.
over.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why the connection's so sketchy. No, their job is to protect the company.
Yeah.
It's like HR is the same thing. HR in every company,
And
it's
if
not
you
there
pay
to protect you.
if you pay exactly right. So you're running in, what's happening is they're taking you through predetermined set steps that they have to go through. I understand that now. But they're just protecting the company. They're going to do what they can. That's why Apple and a couple of these other places, like the people I spoke to today about that loan were amazing. They like we had a conversation. It was incredible. I was shocked. I didn't expect to get it changed. Somebody needed to tell me how I saw my credit score of 840 or whatever it is, and I got turned down. Like this is baffling. I don't know anything about this. Could you help me out? Where in the past I would have been pissed off. Teresa, you answer the phone. What the hell's going on? You guys turned me down. I got an 827. Right. I would have been angry as hell. It's amazing what you can get with that energy. And It isn't illegal if you use it just to get clarity. If you're using it with an expectation and being manipulative, you'll get in trouble. And I'm going to explain the difference. Does everybody hear what I said? And you know the difference? The difference is, like, when I got on the phone, I was talking to this girl and I knew I was going to, that first girl I spoke to was like, okay, I'm not going to get anywhere here, obviously, right? So my best course of action is go to a supervisor or manager. Now, I was nice and I changed his day. I changed the energy of his day just in the way I greeted him and spoke to him. And I just asked him plain and simple, straightforward questions. And because he felt so good, the result was they opened it back up and approved it. I did not ask him to do that. I did not ask for anything except an explanation. You get that, Teresa?
Yes.
So when you get that person on the phone, if you connect with them energetically, watch what happens. I do it all the time. Have any of you tried that? Have you done that, Stas?
Oh yeah, all the time. And it's all worked out for the most part. Like even the offices that I need to go, like yesterday, to fill out a bunch of paperwork, I was kind of given the wrong information, and it took me quite a bit of time to figure some of this stuff out. And it was really annoying, but I kind of sat there and like, well, what's there to be annoyed about? Like I can take care of a certain thing here, and then yeah, I have to go to another location to do other things. And then I got a representative that was really, really helpful and very nice to me, and I was nice to him as well, and it just kind of all worked out.
I actually, on this loan, and I signed this agreement yesterday, and the guy that I was asking about the agreement, at the end I said to him, because I was very nice during the whole thing, right? I said, I'd like your help. What are some questions I forgot to ask? What are questions that people you've dealt with in the past that are smarter than me, what have they asked? And he came in and changed 3 things in the agreement, lowered them. I didn't ask for them. I just asked for the things I might be missing. I said, you're the expert. You do this all the time. He said, well, no one's ever asked me that before. Right. And then he just wanted to help me. So do you get that without, or you just want to go in and get clarity? Teresa, do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
That fine line in there? Because if you cross the line, you're in trouble. Because then it gets into the energy of getting something in the physical. Instead of looking and saying, okay, well, that doesn't work. That hasn't worked. Maybe if I did it this, everything to do with your purpose is simple. It's all simple. Starting next week, I'm going to be getting into this thing on the creating multiple streams of revenue. Different teachings on that. We'll be doing part of every week on that. I'm working with my mentor on it. I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm excited.
Cool thing.
Definitely use it.
Yeah, some cool. It's really some cool stuff. And it's just, again, it'll take you through to become more open-minded. The more open-minded you are, the more awareness you get. The more awareness you get, the more choices you have. It's in the beginning with your business, Teresa, you didn't have choices. You were just surviving,
Mhm.
right? Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not being critical. You can see your own personal growth in the business. It's quite amazing. What's one of the biggest things you're proud of that you've changed in your life because of the business?
I guess just feeling like I feel more abundant and I feel like I have more control over my life and my time.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Stas, with your situation now,
Um,
with the relationship aside?
I mean, no, I mean, the relationship's great. And
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah.
yeah, the rest of it
No, I'm
is,
just saying areas where you're seeing yourself grow. Because I know
oh, yeah.
you had mentioned to me a few weeks ago
Mhm.
about the difference of how you were interacting with people
Yeah,
that
but
you
the other, I
interacted
mean,
with
I
previously.
kind of, I always grow one way or another. Like every 3 months, I kind of look back and I'm like, whoa, that was an interesting decision I made. And like, I wouldn't make it now in the same way. And it's just like things change all the time for me. But I
Mhm.
think reframing certain mindsets with your help, like really helped me. Um,
Like,
and
what's an
more calm.
example?
Well, just being again more calm about it, going after the energy feeling as opposed to sitting in my head and like brewing. Following that, looking at the different opportunities outside of what I usually would, and it's just being open-minded and following and trusting that energy flow that I always trust and it always gets me to the right place, frankly.
Mhm.
You forget it from time to time that it's kind of get
Or all
going
the time.
or all the time.
If you're
Yeah.
like me, yeah, guy, yeah. This is why I'm so adamant and so overboard on examples, right? Because we're talking vibration. So
Mhm.
understanding but what's an example of something recently for you?
Well, I mean, even going out and trying like finding an agency to help me
Mhm.
find work. Like that's something I didn't really think about before because I always kind of like had a weird feeling about agencies, and I still kind of do, but this was like, you know what, who cares? Get as much as possible out of the situation, get information that you wouldn't usually have out of them because they're the experts in many ways. And then I don't have to commit to anything with them for more
Mhm.
than 2 weeks. And so like I can get everything I need and kind of learn and then move on to something else and it'll give me some other ideas. And it's really, yeah, it's helpful.
And as you do that with them, look at some other agencies because they aren't the only way.
Correct.
They aren't the only way, but there's parameters in that game.
Mhm.
But they don't in tech, there aren't recruiters out there looking for specific people.
There are, but like right now, the weird thing is there's a lot of fake ones, and then there's a lot of bad ones as well. And so like even today, I got a recruiter message me on LinkedIn, and um, she couldn't even send me a job description without errors in it. And she was supposed to like not say which company she's recruiting for, but she forgot to remove that portion from the document. And I'm like, you're so incompetent. I can't even with you. But like, okay, let me look at the actual job description from that company and everything. And it's real, but it's frustrating. They in the tech business, they fired a lot of HR and recruiters teams. So they're running on bare minimum in various companies. and that's why they use AI and whatever else. So it's weird. It's
So,
time right now.
okay, okay. So, in the situation with this woman, what advice would you give Stoss, Teresa?
Just to get more into the like possibilities
Hmm.
instead
Mhm.
of
Mhm.
instead of like limitations, like
Mhm.
let's finding the errors that were made. You start thinking like, oh God, this company, questioning it and getting doubts instead of staying open to the unknown possibilities that could come.
You're right. And what it really is, Stoss, what's beneath that? Your judgment of that.
It just comes from my experience. It's a judgment for sure, but I see when somebody can't even be bothered to check their work. Like I don't want to deal with them, frankly, because I don't know what they're
Well,
doing with the information I'm going to give them because they're an agency,
and
you know.
as Teresa said, and I'm going to say that's not a good choice
Mm-hmm.
because he's not going to hire you. What happened there is you immediately had a trust issue,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a quality issue of how you think of yourself. And it's like, yeah, no, this isn't good, right? I have no problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. However, what's the job like? Let's set her aside now and look at the real thing you want to see is is the job that she's repping something that would be of interest to you?
It's okay. It's not the best of things, but it's just okay. And
Is it worth getting more information,
yeah, yeah. Oh, no,
which you
I
would get from
messaged her and
her?
I said I want information, but she couldn't even be bothered to respond in the moment because she just messaged me. So that's the other thing.
Yeah.
There's multiple
Well,
things. So,
but with these, okay, here's what's important is
hmm
with these, just be aware that that's happening.
hmm
Okay. And it's like, okay, moving forward with this, I'm going to have to really keep an eye on this because it might be something. If you want more information, you go after it. And in another week or two, you just say, okay, fuck it. Or go to the company directly,
hmm
because you know who
Well,
it
that's what
is.
I was going to do. I was going to go to the company directly, because frankly, they would be probably saving money also on like and be able to negotiate a salary better than if I was going to do it with an agent that would be taking a
Mhm.
percentage of whatever. So that's the other thing. It's a multiple considerations thing, but I do have a pet peeve when somebody doesn't know what they're doing because I've just seen it. They just don't need to. Yeah.
But you have to understand
Oh.
all that is, all that is a bit of disruption in the clarity that you're seeking.
Mhm.
And you're not going to get into a relationship with that person.
Mm-mm.
Uh, there's many other options possibly. The only question at that point is, do you want more information on the position?
Mhm.
And what's the next step
Mhm.
regarding that?
Mhm.
Because there could be something there.
Yeah.
Gee, you don't know what did Ronnie call it? Who's going to deliver the miracle or whatever? I'm not sure what he said before. You really don't know.
Mhm. Something
You
Where
like
don't
the
that.
know who's
blessing
going to
will
do it,
come from.
where the blessing will come from. Yeah, we
Correct.
don't know. And it could be her. It could be her. She could say
Maybe.
something that caused you to think of something that causes you to make a phone call and just like, oh my God, there, boom, boom, boom. It just happened. You just never know. But if you're negative and upset, we do know.
Mhm. Mhm.
All
Mhm.
this shit just happens. It just happens, plain and simple. Any other comments on that, Teresa? Your advice was pretty good.
Thank you.
Jamie, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I'm just listening right now. Kind of like also with Ellie, so you're in my ear, but
Cool. Anybody else? Ronnie?
No, no comments. Just listening.
What have you learned today, Ronnie?
Energy, which is like the main topics of all these Thursday sessions, but it's really what you give is what you get in a sense. And I really loved your story about the whole approval and the credit, because it's a testament that energy outweighs everything, you know, because if it was me and I got rejected for something and my credit was high, my typical reaction would probably be like, snap, fortunately, and, you know, it's kind of like cuss a little bit, but the fact that you're able to transcend a rejection to an approval within what, like less than a day, that is
Oh, it was done in 15 minutes.
that's
Literally.
insane. That's insane. And that's just a
They had closed the file. They turned
Wow.
me down and closed the file. And you
Wow.
got them to open it back up and approve it.
I needed to hear that. That's beautiful.
Yeah. And it's, you know, for me, it doesn't matter. Like I don't need to do business with them, you know, so it doesn't matter. Although the simplicity and everything else about it was like, okay, this is cool. But I just wanted the answer. And I have to tell you, I love playing with people energetically. I love doing it. Because you can feel them change in the conversation. You can see how you're taking them out of where they were and they're going over to a new energetic space. Right, Stas? It happens right in front of you. Try it with cashiers. Like I really give cashiers some love. Because today they're just amazing, the pressure they're under. You know how they give you what they'll do is you come up and they give you, hi, how are you today? You know, one of those. And then I stop and I say, no, how are you? You're the one that's working. How are you? That's what I want to know. And they go, oh, he really wants to know. And then their whole energy changes. Like that. Comments. Jamie, do you have any comments? Takeaways?
yeah, on that the energy thing, sometimes like I've noticed that a thing I did for a while was like I'd be making logical sense of things, but when I had like a bad energy behind them, and then I would try to like justify it by saying like, oh, but what I'm saying makes sense. So, you know, like think about it. Doesn't it make sense that what I'm saying, but it's nobody cares about that. They just care about like the energy behind it. So they have a problem with it, but because, you know, and then sometimes I'd be like, oh no, I'm just dry, or it's just like how I am, or maybe it's my humor or whatever. But what I'm realizing is that it's not okay. And that it's not okay for me to be that way, because when I'm doing stuff with good energy, I'm like, it's just such a more powerful way to live. And everybody, like, it doesn't even matter if you're saying bad things, but if you have good energy behind it, it's the people are laughing then, or they're just always people like you said, they attract to it no matter what. Like there's nobody that can sit there and keep like being sad or feeling down, or you know, like on a stranger or whatever that you come up to, like you can really shift anybody. And then and the benefits of that isn't just like for them either, really, it's for you, because you just realize how much like more vibrant your entire day is, and like your life changes. Like, and I've been kind of exercising that lately, really focused on like, you know, I just have been and it's and I've been getting like, it's just crazy. I get like free, people been giving me stuff all, like, oh, don't worry about that, like, giving me free coffees, giving me like just I've been, everything's been like benefiting me in a way that I'm not looking for either. It's just I don't know, it's made things a lot more colorful in my life. And so super important, this subject, like Ronnie was saying, like it's really everything, we should be talking about it more for sure.
Yeah, I have a client in my Monday group who says, everyone and everything in the universe is conspiring to help me. Everything. When you meet someone and you speak to them, you find out instantly whether this is someone who's going to give you some help. Because listen to this. This is funny, but it's so true. Your entire life, when we get off this call, everything you do is a search for clarity. Everything. Like, let me go around. What are you doing tonight, Teresa? Do you have any plans?
Well, it's only 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, so I'm going back to work.
Right. I understand. And then after that, do you have any plans
No.
later? No.
That's-
So you don't have any clarity of what you're going to do after your work.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna go for a walk.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
You're always in that search for clarity all the
Okay.
time. You see that? You just want more information. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, Stas?
I mean, that's pretty consistent what you've been saying for all this time is search for clarity, and I keep on saying that. So yeah.
And the more open-minded you could be, the easier it is to ask people questions that used to be a conflict for you,
Mhm.
where you just allow them to be them. That's them. That's what they want. Okay, let me understand it. Right? And after you understand it, it's like, you don't have to fix it. I have another client I worked with a long time. His wife is just miserable. She's just miserable. And it's funny. He'll come downstairs in the morning. She's been up for a little while and she's already pissed off about something. And she's right up to him and let's go, yeah, this, that. And he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I have no anger or resentment or anything about that subject. If you want to talk about it a little bit later when you're not angry, I'd be happy to. Be happy to hear about it. But I don't want to get into an angry discussion. I'm good. And he just hands the hot potato back to her. Which does what?
Diffuses it. Diffuses
On his
the
side,
anger.
Yeah, it pisses her off.
could piss her off more. Because she's just stuck. Why am I miserable? I mean, this is the way people will get the message is you just hand it back to them. No, I don't. Got it. Understand where you're at. Understand how angry you are, but you need to calm down if you want to talk to me. And if not, right now isn't a good time, we'll do it another time. Because I don't care what you had to say. Number one, I'm not defending anything. You think I did something wrong? I'll just apologize. I'm not going to argue. And I'm not going to try and teach a fucking rock how to walk. Right? It's just as easy. Oh, I'm sorry. Boom. Done. Then they don't know what to do. They don't know. How do you handle any angry clients? You ever get any angry clients, Teresa?
I can't say. It's been quite a long time, but yeah, I do
Yeah.
remember one. And he was just like yelling. He was just like, well, I want to know. I need more advice on how to get more write-offs and blah, 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 and like tax stuff, and I just said, okay, well, I'm not an accountant. So, you should probably reach out to an accountant. Then I'm probably not the best match for you. And he's like, whoa.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then it just diffused everything. And he said, okay. And that was it.
Thoughts, ahas, takeaways?
I think just more of like the takeaway is that just keep my mind open to possibilities really, and not close like the venues of what could be, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, somebody starts telling you something and you're like, well, this isn't a fit. As long as you have the appropriate amount of time to hear more.
Mhm.
Like, oh, let me just hear, because you don't know what might come out of it. You just don't know. And then you hear one thing and it causes you to have this is the way the universe works, is that
Mhm.
energy comes in, it's like, boom,
Mhm.
where you really get the clarity. Like in the program I just went in, I just went through I had to research all the different ones. I just needed clarity, needed to see the energy, just needed to feel all the pieces to see what felt right. In fact, one of the first guys I spoke to, God, it might have been the first two, were the second one. I finally said to him, I said, James, I want to tell you something. You know what my expertise is? My expertise is taking complicated things and making them simple. I said, yours is making simple things complicated. Every time I ask a question, I cannot get a straight answer from you. I just went right after him. Oh, I'm sorry, but he was just beating around the bush. He really needs some coaching. Obviously, low low self-esteem. Things he needed to cover was he wasn't holding the energetic responsibility for the position that he has. Does that make sense? You understand that, Teresa?
I think so.
Wasn't holding the energetic responsibility for the position. So what do you think that means?
Well, he needed to have more like confidence in himself and trusting himself in that position, that he knows what he's doing. And you could
Mhm.
feel that he was not sure what he was communicating.
Not clear.
Not clear, yeah.
Yeah. When you began your accounting business, you were in that same position. Do you see that? Learning how to speak to people, learning how to, get new clients. You're just getting awareness on how to build a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now that you understand the business, your energetic responsibility is phenomenal. You see the difference?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah.
You got to know so.
Mhm.
You see it, Stas?
Mhm.
Explain it to Teresa.
Um, Damn it. How do I explain it though? I understand it, but it's just explaining's hard. Um, no, you give your insight. I want to hear what you get to say.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
He hands it back. It's an energetic representation of your value.
Mm-hmm.
And for both of you, the only value, you only have one value, which is your time well spent. Because you can't replace that. So it's who you're being, Teresa. And when you were first in business, you were taking care of people, doing stuff, just, oh no, I want the money. I got the client. I'm going to do that for right now, which was the right choice. That's how you grow a business. But I bet you can give me a list of 15 things you were doing then that you don't do now.
Mhm.
Like, what are a couple?
Just like be on call for people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. So you're protecting your value.
Yes.
Do you see that? When you do that, you couldn't do that to begin with. You didn't have the capacity,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
you didn't have the energetic responsibility then. You didn't have the awareness. You didn't have any of it. Do you see that, Stas?
Yeah.
So it's all about, like with you, Stas, the thing I'm after with this energetic responsibility with you, and you've heard me say it time and time again, it doesn't matter what the job looks like. It's how it's going to make you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And as you've looked into these other things, you're learning about new feelings and new perspectives that you have regarding different types of business, different things. It's just, you don't have to do anything. Just a good time for you to grow. Good for your awareness.
Yeah, well, and that's what I'm trying to do now. And I'm doing.
Mhm.
So
You're doing amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Your energy is incredible. Really good. Really good. Let's see. Who do we lose here? We lost Jamie. Ronnie, I got your takeaway, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, what I
Yeah.
said earlier as far as transcending energy and what you mentioned about the credit thing.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Teresa? What's the takeaway?
I like how you were saying that my clients actually want me to take charge,
Oh,
take
yeah.
charge and tell them what to do. Yeah, that's a good takeaway, because like I just had an email this morning where I had asked a couple simple questions, and then the email I got back was just this long story and and so I just replied, this is what I'm going to do, and told her, I answered the question myself instead of waiting for her to answer it, I guess. And that's what she wants from me, is to tell her, what she needs to do.
They want direction.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I forget about that because I get so caught up in like trying to please them, that instead of being a leader, I become, like the follower.
You're the follower that turns into the leader during the course of the conversation. Just eliminate the follower part and be the leader right from the beginning.
Yeah. There you go. That's my takeaway.
Mm-hmm. And that, you will see, you're speaking at that moment your value, which at this time is high.
Mm-hmm.
You've earned that.
Mm-hmm.
You've grown the business. Yeah, it's powerful. Boss, takeaway.
I just said that. Just what I said.
Okay.
Yeah, I already said my takeaway.
Next week, we're going to start on some teachings on this multiple streams of income. the energy, creating the energy of multiple streams of income, of allowing it. So it's going to be fun to look at. Ronnie just threw a heart up there. It's everything that we teach, everything that we do. It's about you allowing everything so you can have more of you, whatever that is, right? And it's through awareness and allowing that you learn more about you. That's it. Class dismissed. We'll send you the recording and the notes. The notes will be out in a couple of days.
Bye, everyone.
See you later.
See you, Ronnie. Everybody have a great morning, afternoon. Hey, Teresa, 1 second here.